Hey there, Ange Teeple here with a warm welcome to Elevating Resilience, a podcast that illuminates the inspirational power of the human spirit. Join us as we journey into the heart of adversity, exploring the motivations that drive our guests to pursue greatness in their lives. You'll hear firsthand about the strategies and experiences that have shaped their journeys from professionals dedicated to enhancing wellness and mental strength. Whether you're navigating the high-pressure world of athletics, facing the dynamic challenges of entrepreneurship, or simply seeking to build mental resilience in everyday life, this is the podcast for you. We're here to inspire, educate, and empower, showing you that resilience is not just a trait, but a skill that can be cultivated. Tune in to Elevating Resilience and embark on a journey of growth and discovery. Bobby Smith is the owner and co-founder of Reach Your Potential Training, RIPT, a sports performance company based out of Tinton Falls, New Jersey. Since opening its doors 11 years ago, RIPT has had over 6,000 registrations and developed 3 educational products. Bobby has traveled around the country, presenting and teaching, coaches the RIPT system. Prior to starting RIPT, Bobby was a 2-sport athlete at Monmouth University, earning all conference honors as a running back and a D1 All-American honor in the javelin. Bobby continued competing post-collegiately and won the 2000 Olympic trials in the javelin. So I'm just going to start out saying, super stoked to have you on. How we met, which you don't remember, which is okay.
Yeah.
was a barbecue for Mallory Brown. I think it was her 30th birthday party, and they were here visiting. I was pretty excited about it because I was like, okay, that's Bobby Smith, and he owns RIPT, and one day one of my athletes is going to be there. And then your wife, Sharon,
Yes.
had rehabbed so many of the girls that had tore their ACLs, and I wanted to tell Sharon that I wasn't born with ACLs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was like, really? And I was like, yep, I swear I wasn't. And so we had a great conversation that day, and it's really fitting for me that Mallory and Donald have always been that presence in my life to introduce me to some awesome people. And I feel like it's no coincidence that for my rebrand for the podcast, you are my first guest, and you are also such a big part of Shore Athletics. And I'm really excited about that part. So, and everything I've heard, and you are the consistent force. There's a lot of places out there doing performance training, and everyone always goes back to RIPT. So hearing your journey and where you're at I'm really excited about. So we're going to dive in. And the first question is 2-sport athlete, football, through the javelin. You must have a story. So tell me the resilient part and how we can hone in on that.
Yeah, I had an amazing time at Monmouth University. Like you said, 2-sport athlete there, captain of the football team, All-American javelin thrower. And, everyone sees those awards that I won, recently got into the Hall of Fame. But what really stands out for me is, I had 4 surgeries when I was at Monmouth.
Jeez.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So my sophomore year, we're playing Sacred Heart. I'm getting the ball right-hand side, and I'm back in my head. My coach is like, don't cut back, cut back, and boom, guy jumped on my back and, man, tore that ACL.
Oh, okay.
And that's what started it,
Yeah.
and that was my sophomore year. I was just starting. I was tailback there, and, when I got that, I was like, I never really got hurt in high school, like ankle sprain here and there, but nothing like that.
Yeah.
And that, at first, really hit me hard, that first surgery.
Yeah.
I remember walking out of my dorm, and I lived with all football players, and they had my shirt off, and they thought I was the kicker. And being called the kicker in football is probably one of the most disrespectful things you can be called. And I was just like, man, I got to change this, and it just that mindset, you could hear the Rocky music going, all right, time to kick it in, Smith, let's go.
Yeah.
And then I just started that rehab process. And
is that when you think you fell in love with the whole process of training?
Definitely not.
Okay.
Yeah, it was my high school experience. I was at a sports performance gym at high school. They reached out to me because I was doing well and started lifting and training, saw the results, and I was addicted to that process. And I was I knew then in high school I wanted to open up a gym.
Yeah. Wow.
So going to Monmouth University, they didn't have any exercise science degree at that time. So I was like, my mom's like, just be a teacher and a coach. Why aren't you? That's what you love, educating people. And I was like, yeah. So my goal was to be a teacher. I got my degree in special education, minor in health. So the goal was to be, a football coach, give back. And then I got into a classroom. I remember doing my student teaching, and I was like bouncing off the walls. And I was like, where is the gym? Where is the PE? And I was like, I need to be in the gym. I can't be wearing. Yeah, I was literally like bouncing off the walls.
That's great.
Those 4 surgeries at Monmouth like taught me so much. Like tore my ACL, then I tore my meniscus in the same knee rehabbing. Then I had to get Tommy John surgery on my elbow. Won the Duke Invitational meet, blew out my elbow. And I was just like, I remember like being in the doctor's office with Dr. Bate, who did all 4 of my surgeries.
Okay.
Yeah, for professional orthopedics, and him being like, maybe it's time to look into something else. And I was just like, no, like this is who I am. There's no other way.
Okay.
So, rehab through that, came back, tore my, UCL, and then was an All-American javelin thrower. And then came back for my redshirt senior year, and I was like, this is it. Come back. I'm going to win the national title. Senior year football, redshirt senior year, broke my ankle. Never
Jeez.
I was
and it
on the
wasn't
table.
just a broken ankle. You had to get the surgery, the whole thing.
Whole thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember like my wife, girlfriend at the time, Sharon, was like calling Dr. Bate and be like, yeah, probably broke his ankle. He's like, I'll stop drinking. We'll do the surgery tomorrow. I was like, okay, great. Thanks, Doc. So, yeah. So got that, rehab that process back, came back. And then, that was the goal, to win a national title in my redshirt senior year. And that's when like I knew I could do anything at that time, being through 4 surgeries, going in, rehab was going great, competing, going really well. Went to the Penn Relays, got second to this guy from North Carolina. I was like, man, I'm going to get him back. Then at that time, we went to regionals, and he was projected number 1. I was projected number 3 at the time. Boom, came out, hit a huge PR, took the lead. I was like, man, this is it. And then they're like, oh, sorry, he did not take the lead. Still, the kid from North Carolina has it. So I was like, man, came back again, didn't have anything in the tank, but I was like, all right, I'm second. Let's go to nationals. So going to nationals, it was East Coast versus West Coast. They take the top 12. Okay. Then they go into nationals with the top 24.
Okay.
At that time, they go, it's a 2-day meet. So you throw the top 24 throw, they take the top 12, and then they go to the finals.
Okay.
So I'm going in at second.
Yeah.
And I'm like, got this. Let me get through the first day, boom, hit 1 throw, get ready for finals. So I go in there that first time competing, or like at that time, and I'm like, all right, just let me hit this 1 throw, go in there, and I fouled. So I was like, all right, got 2 more, come back, boom, fouled again. I was like, man, all right, looking at my coach, and my coach was like, do it, you know what to do. Boom, came out, hit a throw, and I was like, all right, I was at 5th at the time. And then the next tier came in 12, and I see my name dropping down, and I got 13th.
Oh, no.
And didn't make finals.
Oh,
and
no.
I was like completely devastated. Like, obviously, like, I felt like I let down everyone.
Yeah.
My school, parents, like, still, like, brings tears to my eyes.
Jeez.
But that adversity taught me, all right, I learned my lesson. Now let's go in 2007. I'm looking around. Where am I going to go train? Found some people out in California, had an amazing training group. It was called RIPT, but it was called Reach Your Potential Training. My coach was Todd Reach, 2-time Olympian in the javelin. I had a great training group, training partner, and we were like living the dream, if you will. Like, I'm out in Southern California. I'm training in an awesome environment, working at a Velocity Sports Performance. Like, so I was doing coaching, still training, and then I was like, all right, now let's go. We were going at Arizona was the time. It was a big throws meet, and boom, hit a huge PR. And I was like, let's go. So I'm going into the Olympic trials, and I was ranked, I believe, 11th at the time going in. So I was like, same scenario, 2-day meet.
Okay.
First day, take the top 24, top 12, go to the next day. So I'm like, I'm coming out guns blazing. I'm hitting this thing, that first throw. And boom, came out the first throw, nailed it. Just below my PR, but man, I got 7th.
Yeah.
So now I'm going into finals.
Sure.
But what happened was the top guy got hurt, and he didn't make it. So everyone's looking at each other like, who's going to win this thing?
Yeah.
Who's going to win it? The top guy that was, so far from everyone else, didn't make the finals. So I just knew, like, all right, take my mindset. I was working with a sports psychologist at the time, and just, doing my visualization, putting myself into that moment. And then, finals came. Body was feeling good, had some good warm-ups, and I was like, I know, like, I'm going to get this crowd into it. I'm going to get excited, and I'm going to hit one. And it was like, I was like, it's going to be my 2nd or 5th throw. I don't know which one yet. and I'm in there visualizing, seeing it. Second throw, I was up, but like the crowd was into a track meet. I mean,
Yeah.
at the race at the time, I think it was the 200. So I was like, it's not the right time, but I still hit one. I made into the top 9, and then I was getting to my 5th throw, and the crowd was just silent. I just like got up and started screaming and got the crowd into it.
Getting the energy.
Boom, hit that throw, and I knew like that was it. Like when you hit
Mhm.
one throw, like you just feel it throughout your whole body. Like
Yeah.
it just feels effortless and going. You hear the crowd and like
Yeah.
boom, and I knew like that time took the lead and I won it.
Wow.
And like if it wasn't through that adversity,
yeah.
that failure,
Mhm.
I don't know if I would have attacked that meet the same way.
No.
I don't think
No,
I would
I
have.
don't think so.
And
That's
like that,
pretty-
like really, like
that's powerful.
changed my life.
Mhm.
That failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so from there, you win that.
Yes.
And
And that's
you-
what the why is.
the
Like
ri-
people don't even know that. Like I don't even
Wow.
really talk about that. That's
No.
the why
I never
from
knew
that moment
Yeah.
of when I won the Olympic trials in 2008.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I know.
Yeah. The kids are going to love hearing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's neat. So you win, and then do you come home back to Jersey?
So then, unfortunately, I did not go to the Olympics. You have to hit
Okay.
a certain standard,
Okay.
and my goal was to hit it at that meet.
Okay.
The weather, the conditions weren't great. It was like a bad headwind, and like
Yeah.
that really like messed with a lot of the competitors as well too, because people weren't throwing as far,
Yeah.
and I just battled through
Yeah.
that adversity and hit that throw. So I went out to Finland, competed at a couple meets in Finland, came back, and then I was like, man, like I spent my life savings like going out and competing. Like I
Mhm.
don't know if you know any professional javelin throwers, because no one does. You don't make
No.
any money. Yeah, you don't make any money. So
Yeah.
I'm out there, and I was like, man, I can't afford to live out there for another year or 4 more years
Yeah.
to compete for the next Olympics. So I put my name in the hat for the Olympic Training Center, and then they're like, hey, you won. You can be a full-time resident at the Chula Vista Center in, right below San
Yeah.
Diego. And I was like, absolutely. And they're like, this is probably like an $80,000 scholarship, if you will. Like, think about going to college but not going to class. Like,
Mhm. Wow.
it's amazing. Yes, you wake up, you eat, you train,
I love
you
that.
eat,
Yeah.
you train, and then like
Yeah.
they say it's like Groundhog's Day because you're doing the same thing.
Mhm.
But I loved it. Like I knew that, like learning and training with Olympic like gold medalists. That's what my training partners were.
Jeez.
And like there, I was like, this is what I want to do. Like I want to take these lessons, these values of me learning how to run, learning how to jump,
Mhm.
and this is what I want to bring back to New Jersey. I want to teach young high school athletes how to do this, because I was always a running back that never liked to run because I wasn't so fast.
Yeah.
But I never learned how to run.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I always
yeah.
dreaded it. Like running
Yeah.
was always a punishment, conditioning, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, but there, like I was learning these proper movements, proper movement patterns.
Sure.
And I was like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like I want to, and I wrote like a 5-year business plan.
Wow.
And I reached out to Donald too. And he was one of my, you
Yeah.
know, like mentors or like friends at the time. I was like, hey man, I want
Yeah.
you to go on this journey with me. He's like, it's not the right time for me. I'm in,
Mhm.
the NFL still, like I'm still, and I was like, I get it. Not a problem. Reached out to another friend. We were going to do it together, and it just didn't work out. So then I was like, all right, I'm doing this. So
Cool.
reached out,
Mhm.
put ads out. The NSCA, so National Strength and Conditioning Conference, got like 125 resumes.
Okay.
And I was like, man, like, just like probably I'd say 10 of them were like really good,
yeah.
but it just didn't fit. Like I was interviewing them, I just didn't get the feel. Like one guy
Yeah.
got the feel, but it wasn't,
Yeah.
just wasn't right chemistry. Like you can feel it if you know it.
Mm-hmm.
So then I put another ad out and got a guy, and he was just finishing up with the Carolina Panthers at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and had the big time experience, Louisville, like college experience, was a, Division III All-American athlete at Springfield College. And I was like, what are you doing this weekend? He's like, well, our season's just ended. I was like, I'm flying you out. Come look at this space with me.
Mm-hmm.
So he flew out, him and his wife. I showed him ripped at the time, but it was just like a blank canvas. Like
Yeah.
there was nothing.
Yeah.
Like just the empty warehouse space. And I'm like, this is my vision.
Mhm.
This is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Would you want to come on this ride with me? Hop on my bus.
Yeah.
And it was like, I remember him and his wife, who was an amazing strength coach as well, Mary Kate Fight. Now they're both doctors at Springfield.
Okay.
I put quotations like they're doctors, but
Yeah.
you're not real doctors, but still. They came and, they took the weekend over and were like, let's do this.
Yeah.
And we put our minds together, and Ripped would not be where it is without them. Like,
awesome.
It was just an amazing journey. They were with me for 5 years, and then went back to Springfield College.
Yeah.
Got their doctorate and doing great things there. They're professors there and molding young minds at Springfield College. But, that journey through all that adversity, the 4 surgeries, the failure, and then the ups and downs, and
and sticking to what you knew you wanted, and what kind of partner you wanted to have the same mindset as you.
That's it.
Yeah,
we were great. It was a great partnership.
That's
and
great.
We always knew what we wanted to do was train young athletes, teach them how to run, jump, lift properly, change directions, and also reduce that risk of injury.
Yes.
And that's the what we still stick to this day, 11 years later.
Yeah, that's the brand.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. So from that, now you have this business and you have these kids and you're changing their lives.
Yeah.
How often are you actually talking about the resilience and teaching these kids to continue with their mentality because of how important it is?
Right. That's a great question. And I think how we differ is that we evolve around the high school season. So we have 4 seasons at Ripped.
Okay.
We're just finishing our fall season now and about to go into our winter season.
Okay.
We bring all the new athletes in and we evaluate them. We take them through the process of, dynamic warm up, and then we test them, their vertical jump, see how high they jump, long jump, see how far they jump, a 10-yard sprint, and then a 60-yard shuttle, 5 back, 10 back, 15 back, see how well they change directions. And to be honest with you, I'm not looking for them to break any records. I just want to see where they're at and for them to get comfortable with the facility.
Yeah.
We go into some speed and agility, teach them some movements, go into the weight room, some body weight exercises, see where they're at, and then we go over our commandments, our 7 commandments. And this
Share
is where
them
I feel
with me.
absolutely that, differentiate us in teaching them the unspoken rules, if you will.
Okay.
And number 1 is change your mentality. You get to train here, not work out. And I say, look around this facility. It's top of the line, amazing equipment, great coaches, and you're here to get better at your sport. We're not here just to get bigger, faster, stronger. That's the byproduct of the system. But you're here because it is a privilege.
Yes.
And number 2 is commit to the process, train the moment. Little things lead to big things. When you're here, we want you here mentally and physically. Whatever's going on outside, just when you get here, put the phone down, give me the 90 minutes, be all in. Number 3 is believe. The power of belief's huge, as you know.
Oh, yes.
Either you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So believe in us, believe in the system. The RIP system works. I guarantee it. You show up consistently, you're going to get better.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of these kids that they're coming in. They have done nothing, and now we're teaching them that 101, teaching them exactly how to run, how to jump, how to lift.
Yeah.
And that's what really that's what gets me going.
Yeah.
Is getting these new athletes in.
Yeah.
And now it's my turn to mold them into they don't know any wrong because they never done it before. So we're here to teach them everything, those steps to set them up for success later on in life.
Yeah.
And then one of the big ones is commit to body language.
Body language.
Yes, is huge. We don't allow hands on hips.
Okay.
So no hands on hips. So we want to
hips?
get you mentally stronger, not only physically stronger.
Okay.
And teaching them that adversity, because adversity is going to strike. It doesn't matter what sport you play, someone's going to go down, and you have to be able to get ready to step up and take that spot. So, you won't think of it as a big thing, but you catch them. And when we do 2 burpees, and then they're there with their team, which we do a lot of team training, then the whole team does it.
Yeah.
And they learn right away, hey man, my body language sets how I am and how I portray myself to everyone else.
Yes. And it changes your energy.
Definitely.
They need to understand that the way they carry themselves,
right,
shoulders back, just when I go in to speak, I'm okay, stand up, put your shoulders back, let's go. Change the way you're sitting right now, and then you're going to have more positive come to you. So that's huge. That's really awesome.
And the last one is don't be afraid to fail, afraid to be great, fail forward from learning from each mistake. And you might be a really great athlete at what you do, but you've never lifted before.
Yeah.
So you're new here, take the step back, watch the returners, watch what they do, and then you take that same lead.
Yeah.
And that's what we really ask those returners to be those leaders in those groups.
Yeah.
Hey, you've been here before. This is your 4th season. Let's go. Step up. You're the first one in line. Let's show them the way. This is how we do things here.
Yeah. How important do you think it is that these kids learn to fail?
I think it's everything.
It's everything, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, one of my great mentors, especially with like kids, is like,
Mm-hmm.
are we setting them up for the path, or are we setting the path up for them?
Yeah.
You know, like, are we, you know, putting everything? And I remember like hearing that when I had my young son at the time, and I'm like, man, I look around and like everything has soft, you know, mold on it so he doesn't hit his head and everything. And like, we're like moving everything out. So like if he falls, he doesn't hurt himself. But it's like, are we getting him ready for that path? Because once they step out this door, like, not everything's going to be set for them.
Sure.
So
it's
it's like
point.
They need to learn that failure. And that's why we love sports, you know, as parents, because it teaches them that failure and how to be resilient from that and get back and keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's so important. It's so important. I see it so much is the kids, they just want to succeed, but taking the failure and saying, hey, I failed and it didn't go my way. So now what am I going to do about it? And I think that sets the great athletes apart.
It does.
They know how, and they don't make excuses for it. Don't make excuses for the kid failing.
Yeah.
And they just go.
That's
and
it.
I think it's so cool that it's not just about performance. You are also mentally getting these kids ready to where they need to be. And it's no coincidence that they are some of the best. Like I've watched some of the girls you train go to the top D1 programs in the country, and they were able to sustain it and come back for more, which is awesome. I love that. I love those commandments. I'm going to definitely write them down and use them. Yeah, I got to give them to me, definitely.
Right.
So,
but like even with failure, saying like even my son, like I coach his team, and we always go against this one team, and they play year-round basketball, and our kids don't. And we went past Monday, and we lost by 6. You know, and I was like, man, like, we always lose this team. Like, we got it. You know, next practice, like they were on.
Okay.
They learned. Like, hey, I'm like, guys, how did that feel when we lost?
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you how I felt. I didn't sleep.
Yeah.
I didn't. I don't like losing to that team.
Yeah.
We're better athletes than them.
Yeah.
They're better basketball players than us right now. But we're better athletes.
Yeah.
And like, this is the time in practice now that directly affects us in the game. And their whole demeanor during practice was different. You know, and if we just go against low-level teams and beat them, like, it's not going to be the same.
No, it isn't. It's
not. Like, we got to go against those better kids.
That's how they get tougher. But it's also the coaching that you are explaining that to them. So I have found that the best coaches explain it. Like, you are explaining to them why you want them to do that instead of just being like, come on, we can do this. Let's go now. But this is unacceptable. Well, why is it? You know, in this generation, let's answer the why. You know, really
I think
tell
that's
them.
huge now. Like,
Yes,
even
it's
like
huge.
I even evolved as a coach because of that.
Yes.
Because I feel like kids want more now.
They do.
Because they got the information right at their palm now.
Yep.
So it's like they want that why. Like, why is it we can do that?
Well, let's give it to them. Yeah. Right? And not say, well, they're soft, they don't need it. We didn't need it. Well, we're not them.
Right.
So if we don't change with those times, then what are we really doing? So it's really, really powerful to hear you say that. That's so awesome. So awesome. Okay. Ready for the next one?
That's it.
All right, let's go. So what does Bobby Smith use as strategies to maintain this high level of energy, passion out of the gym?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do to maintain your mindset out of the gym?
And like, as you see, like, this is Coach Bobby, like, you know,
Yeah.
I'm like ready to like, you
You
know,
are
jump
ready.
across this table. Like,
I'm ready to like, I want to go work out.
Right. Because this is like Coach Bobby, but then there's, you know, Dad Bobby.
Okay.
You know, like, it's two different mindsets, if you will. When I'm home, I'm not, you know, hey, get down, Brady, let's go get that butt down, chest up, you know, like, because that's not, you know, sustainable.
Yeah.
And like, I wouldn't want to be the son to that, you know, like,
exactly.
no one wants this as full time. I'll tell you that right now. So when I get to the gym, it's like I put that stopwatch on. It's like my hard hat. Like, it's like, all right, it's time to go to work. This is my opportunity to change their lives. And I always believe one great training session can change an athlete's life. And it really hit me in the beginning. I have my original 7, like those original 7 girls that still have their picture on the wall that I trained.
Yeah.
And one of them went through a ton of adversity, lost a sister. And when we first started training her, like, she was just all black, wouldn't smile, nothing we could do to like cheer her up. And then I remember like 3 weeks in, like, all right, she started wearing something other than black. All right, now she's smiling a little bit. All right, now she's laughing. I was like, and I didn't know at the time that, you know, she was going through this.
Yeah.
And then after that first season at Ripped, those 12 weeks, she like wrote me this note that like coming to Ripped was the only reason why I wanted to live and keep going.
Oh,
And I was just like,
that's
ball. Like, I was like,
sure.
wow.
Yeah.
I was like, looked at him like, this is what we can do.
Yeah.
This is what the effect that we can have on these kids
Yeah.
day in and day out. And like, that hit me hard right in the beginning. Like, all right, this is what we can do to these kids.
Yes.
And it was just addicting to know that we can really change their life.
Yeah.
You know?
That's amazing. So what does Dad Bobby look like?
Dad Bobby, very similar, you know, but not as, you know, eyes popping through the microphone. It's just a little bit more laid back and relaxed, you know, because you can't keep this high energy up.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, the burnout from coaching. I remember when I first started, I was like, who's burning out from this? This is amazing. And I'm like, you know, now 10 years, 15 years in, and I'm like, all right, the burnout is real. Like, you can't keep this up.
Yeah.
You know, but I set my times where, all right, this is Coach Bobby. You know, we're coaching kids after school from 3, you know, to 7, 3 to 8. That's when I'm on. Okay. That's where I'm ready to go. Yeah. And then when I get home, now I'm Dad Bobby, you know, like still cracking jokes, having fun, dancing, but a little bit different. Yeah. Yeah.
And what do you do to relax?
Relax. Well, my wife has me coaching all my sports, the son sports, so I don't get to relax. No. Okay. Yeah, I'm coaching his football, coaches basketball, coaches baseball, all involved. But, you know, like, we live at the beach, amazing Jersey Shore. Awesome. So, go to the beach. We have a pool. Like, you know, being with a great community that we live in now. So, definitely.
So, something that I find super admirable is that you fill everybody's cup up. So, that fills your cup. Yeah. Like, the absolute passion of your job fills your cup.
100%. Like, that's it. Addicting. And, like, we were starting a new facility the past year, and I wasn't training as many kids, and like, I was just like down. Like, my wife's like, what's up? You know, and I'm like, I'm seeing like 5 kids a day right now. Like, I'm just not like, I need to be in front of a group. I need in front of people. Like, you know, like right now we have like the SG St. John Vianney's girls basketball team Tuesday, Thursday, like 3:30, like boom. Like, I'm like, let's go. It's Thursday. We've got day 2 lateral movement, clean and bench. Like, that's like, that gets me going. Yeah. Because it's like, they walk in and you could see like from 12 weeks or 11 weeks ago, like how much better they've gotten. Yeah. You know, and that's what like really fills my cup.
During that time when it was just having 5 kids, how did you keep your mindset up to like, these kids are going to come in, they're going to find us, and I'm going to find that? Right. Yeah.
And then, like, I've been fortunate enough now, like, we have 3 educational products. Before COVID, like, I was out almost twice a month, like, going out and speaking and talking to coaches, mentoring coaches. At one point, we had up to 50, you know, coaches around the country that we were mentoring. That's so cool. And then they would say that same thing, like, yeah, it's easy for you because now, you know, you see hundreds of athletes, but now I'm only seeing 6. Yeah. And I'm like, but you got to treat those 6 so special and believe in them, because that's how the word gets spread. Yes. You know, you're not going to, you do whatever you want on social media, marketing, getting out there, but these people are the ones that are going to tell everyone. Yeah. You know, and the beauty is you don't know who's the connector. No. You don't know who it is. Yeah. And then so many times that we've had kids come in and I'll be like, man, do they even like it here? Like, and next thing you know, like, they're bringing their team in. And then they're bringing their brothers and sisters in, and then they're bringing their friends in. And I'm like, geez, we just got 30 people from this one kid that I didn't know if they liked it, you know? So that's where it's like, you don't know who that connector is. No. So you just got to treat everyone that, you know, special and believe in them.
Yeah, that's great advice for new business owners. And that's part of the Elevating Resilience podcast, is because me being a new business owner, hearing that is exactly what I need to hear. Is like, I'll compare myself to someone's 10 years down the road. Right. And I'll be like, okay, Ange, you're 6 months in. Okay, what do you believe in? And what you just said was exactly what people need to hear. Right. You treat what you have and it'll grow. Yeah. Like, every day I make a connection and I'm like, I'm going to treat that connection like as if they're the ones taking me to the next step. Right. And it has really proven a lot. Like, yeah, it's par for the
But
course.
everyone feels like you see that overnight success, and like,
there's no such thing.
No, like the one comedian my wife and I like now, and like we're looking at him, he's like, I was doing this for 12 years. Yes. 12 years before anyone even knew who I was. Yes. And you're like, what do you mean? I see you all on social media now. How do you not, you know, like, you don't see it. Yeah. But all of a sudden you get that one, and he literally said it was like one, you know, gig that he did that they wasn't even getting paid for. Yeah. And he just went there. He was like, let me do it. And then someone posted something and he just blew up. Yeah. And it was like, you just never know. Like you see and you think it's an overnight success, and it's never.
Everyone has a story, which
Right.
is I'm obsessed with. That's what I can't wait to share so many. But I also think taking that to these athletes in this generation to show them that not to compare themselves to the Division I athlete that they think has done it all, to compare themselves what they can do in that moment, just like you said when you talked about the commandments.
Yeah.
Like they need to stay focused on that moment as hard as they can right then and there.
Well, it's the process.
It's the process.
It's the process. It's
Yes.
the day in and day out.
Excellent.
And that's what makes it, the athletes succeed. And it's doing it when you don't want to do it. And so many times I tell the kids like, oh, like they're coming in like, man, my hamstring's a little tight. I was like, just do the warm up. Go through the warm up. Let me know how you feel afterwards.
Yeah.
And they go through the warm up. They're like, it feels great now.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that's awesome.
Just start off there. If it still hurts, hey, we'll pull a bike aside. You can still bike when we're doing the movement, and then we'll hop in and do the lift that you want.
Yeah.
And I would say probably 9 out of 10 times they just go right back in because it's just, you don't feel great.
No.
And you're not always going to feel great, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But we got to be able to know when we can push through it, and that's what's going to make the difference.
Yeah, that's huge. And you communicating that. Again, let's go back to communicating. You said to them, okay, just do the bike. They probably thought you're going to be like, okay, leave. If you don't want to do it, leave.
Right.
That's what we used to be able to say that.
Yeah.
But now it's like, all right, start here. And then the kid starts to get the confidence to be like, okay, I can do this, which is cool. And I think also kids accepting the fact that they're their best selves instead of saying, well, I can't jump like him, but I'm going to figure out how to jump like him, and then I'm going to train with him because he's going to make me better and I'm going to make him better. And I think that mentality is also important for
and that's
these
why
kids.
I love the group training, because that's what parents are coming in and like, hey, do we do private training? And I was like, we can offer that, but that's not what I would just be taking your money. I'm going to be honest, because we're going to do the same stuff with them in that private session or in the group session. But now they're not going to get that same energy. They're not going to get that same environment, and they're not going to be able to compete against the person next to them. Yeah. And I was like, that's why I push everyone to the group, because you can't fake that environment. No. You can't.
So connectivity, how important is it amongst your athletes? Do you find the best sessions when they're connected and ready to roll?
Well, that's it. It's like, and I tell them, like, what you give me is what I give back. Yes. So if you come in and you have that great attitude, I'm going to be even higher. Yeah. Like, and that's what I, like, you come in down here, I'm going to be up here, but when you bring it back, like you come and give me that same focus and intention, now you got me even more. Yeah. Because now I know you're bought in and I know that you want it. And like we have, days that we don't, and that's okay, but the remainder of the group, like you always have a couple kids that start that group off that, build it up, and then all of a sudden like, all right, everyone else starts going. Yeah. And then it's like, then we're like, juices are flowing, we're going.
Yeah, the peer relationships are powerful.
Yes.
When they see the kids doing it, then it's like, let's go.
And that's what, what we do is like you have to come at a certain day and time so you get familiar with that group. That's important. And it's that family environment that I love. Like we have a group right now, Coach Jake's coaching a group like Tuesday, Thursday at 6, and it's just evolved as these group of girls, basketball players, soccer, field hockey, and like it's just such a great group, and now they're like family, like they're texting each other, sending Snapchats, like, it's just, it is a great environment.
It's funny too, when I have been doing the all in and the athletes talk, one of the conversations that they have amongst each other when I do meetings is, hey, I go to Ripped. Hey, I go to Ripped too. I've seen you at Ripped. So it is a common thing for the kids, which is really cool.
And that's what they tell parents, even if they don't have a friend here, they're going to come in, and I guarantee their friend of a friend knows someone that's in that group, or like they know, oh, you go to this school, oh, do you know this person? It just exactly, it happens because it is a small niche.
It is a small niche.
The short conference is so big.
Yes. And you think that you can't hit it all, but you don't need to. You need to just make what you have. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So as far as resilience as well, like what are some ways and strategies you tell the kids to get through like a hard day, like when they come in? Do you guys specifically, like, I guess maybe have an example of like a kid that came in, had a really hard day, have a hard week? Like, I know you shared that awesome example from the beginning, but maybe another example to where you've really seen a kid like use this to propel them into
and I
the
think
next step.
One thing that the beauty of our facility is that my wife's business, Elite Sports Physical Therapy, is housed inside there as well.
Awesome.
And she started that business back in 2003 because of kids getting hurt and not having that environment.
Okay.
And so when a kid comes in, her specialty is ACLs, you're devastated.
Mm-hmm.
You tear your ACL as a high school athlete, like you think
Yeah.
your world is over.
Yeah.
And then they come here and they see like, whoa, that person is 4 months out of their ACL. That person's 5 months and they're doing that already. Like,
Wow.
so like,
Yeah.
it's not the end of the world. And like, it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah,
And like
yeah, yeah.
seeing, and it just, that's what like gets her going is like
Yeah.
those kids coming in with those crutches and seeing like, all right, we're going to get this experience and you're going to come back better than you were.
Yeah.
And this is your body telling you that you just needed a rest.
Yeah.
You know, you got hurt for a reason. Everything happens for a reason, and we're going to get better from this process.
Yeah.
And that happens so often with those kids that come in.
Yeah. That's huge for them. They see the example in front of them. That's
Right in
huge
front
for
of
their
them.
mentality.
Definitely.
To keep going through injury.
That they know that, oh, well, I'm going to be doing that in a couple months. Like,
yeah.
I'm going to be coming back and I'm going to be running and jumping. And yeah, it's going to happen.
Definitely.
And that's that environment
mm-hmm.
that is so different.
Mm-hmm.
And like explaining it to, you know, other gym owners, it's like a college training room with high school kids.
Yeah.
You know, like that
mm-hmm.
college training room and that environment, how they set up with high school kids, and they
mm-hmm.
come in and like they all get to know each other and they go through that process together of like
mm-hmm.
bouncing back and
mm-hmm.
coming through that adversity of
mm-hmm.
tearing their ACL or,
mm-hmm.
you know, it's just, you can't match it.
No, not at all. No, not at all. That's so cool. That's huge. Like that's what you hear about a lot of kids with the injury. We a lot of people give us advice and they're like, oh, well, you need to talk about like the mentality of coming back from an injury. And I think seeing it is more than talking about it, right?
Right.
Yeah. So Sharon is able to set it out in front of them, and this is what it looks like, and let's roll.
Yeah.
Definitely. And people going there know that.
Right.
So and I'm sure Sharon has so many stories as well to be able to share with all of it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool that you guys share the same passion. That's
right.
neat. Definitely.
It is neat, and it definitely, you know,
that's really cool.
And that's where like my friends are always just like, man, like it's easy for you because you love what you do, and it's like it's not easy. Yes, there's times that you know you don't realize the kids that I have to work with, but
mm-hmm.
it is because we have this opportunity to change them.
Yeah,
you know, and that's what like gets us going.
I can tell you're probably somebody that gets really excited about the hard kid, the one that needs it the most.
They always have. Every group has one.
Everyone has one.
Everyone
and
has
it's
one.
like, okay.
Yeah.
But they need it the most.
They do.
They're going through something different. And it's easy to coach the kids that want to show up every day. 100%.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Anyone can coach them.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, biggest advice to athletes going through a failure, what would you tell them?
I think that, you know, it all happens to us, but whatever you're going through, mm-hmm. someone has gone through it and it's been worse. Mm-hmm. So whatever you're battling right now, like you need to go out and talk because someone has definitely gone through it. And I remember when I, you know, tore my elbow and had to get surgery again, and my coach being like, look at this athlete, he's never going to play again. Mm-hmm. And it was like, he's like, you're going to come back better from this because you did it with your knee. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, like it could always be worse. It could always be worse. Yeah. But you just got to realize that in that moment, you just put your head down, go back to work like you've always done, and you're going to get the results because there's really no other way. No. There's no other way. It's just, if you want to be a high achiever, these are the steps that you need to take. Yeah. So. And share your story. Just like you said, share your story to help somebody else. Right. Yeah. I'm sure if you talk to your coach or talk to someone else that's competed at a high level, they've been through it. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So that's you're not alone. You're not alone. I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you. Yeah. This was great. We made it all the way to 2 minutes. That was the best 45 minutes ever. Wow. Yeah. That was fun. Definitely. Yeah. That flew by. No way. I swear to God. That's, oh my gosh. That's nuts. Wow. That is really cool. I talk to a lot of coaches, Bobby, and it's really, you just gave me a breath of fresh air. Well, thank you. Yeah. I've been talking to a lot of high school coaches, and just like trying to get in their head what you're saying. They have these kids' lives in their hands. They are the most trusted adult these kids have to make the biggest difference. And that is the mission for the nonprofit for All In Athletes, is to find a way to coach the coaches, find a way for these kids to get the best experience possible, because they're not getting it on the playing fields as much as they should be, in my opinion. Yeah. I think a lot
needs to change. You
Yeah.
know, I do. I do. I do.
Well, it's not easy. It's
No.
not easy for them,
No.
And I think
Mm-hmm.
that now if all of a sudden like the parents, if it's not working out, we'll just transfer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
my son's not getting playing time in this AAU program. We're gonna go to this program now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it affects
Smart.
the kids because
Yeah.
then, my
Mm-hmm.
son's football team. All right, a little wet out. All right, let's go inside. Good sports. And then they're
Yeah.
like complaining like, well, the kids aren't mentally tough. I'm
Yeah.
like, but are we setting them up for success? Because as soon as there's a drop of
Mm.
water on the field, we're running inside.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
can't complain
No.
that they're not getting mentally tough if we're running inside every time there's a little rain.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not going to be perfect, but we still need to battle through that
Yeah.
because we're going to play in those conditions sometime. So I think it's, and it's tough for parents and coaches because of the parents that we have this capability of just going somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so hard for the coaches. And the coaches are burnt out.
They are.
So it's like ask for help. Where how do we get them the help? How do we get them the resources, to find that passion inside of them again?
Well, our guy
have
always says it. It's not, you don't get burned out from what you do. You get burned out because you forget why you do it.
Yeah.
And
why.
it's the why you do it.
And putting their work in.
Yeah.
To get better as a coach, and most do, but some don't. And I think that needs to be across the board for the athletics to change, and having the hard conversations with parents and parents to understand what their role is. Like, come on, and I guess just more of the awareness of it, spreading it as much as we can is kind of like the mission,
Right.
as far as mental wellness, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Having a tough time. I don't want to be like everybody else and always just talk about mental health. I feel like it's a negative connotation to
Right.
it. I want to come in and be like, here's strategies for mental wellness. Here are actually things that you can do. Here
Right.
are I want to give workbooks to teams, that like the John Gordon workbook. I want to
Right.
make one and be like, here is for every team in the shore conference. Do it with your coaches. Like, maybe that changes things,
It does.
It
would, because,
it would.
well, even like
Mhm.
when I went to a sports psychologist, and if you even
Mhm.
say that, then people are like, well, something's wrong with you. And
Yeah.
you're like, no,
Yeah.
how many times have you thought and trained to be in that moment?
Yeah.
Never.
You don't.
You don't.
No.
You don't train to be in
Mm-mm.
that moment. We do
Mm-mm.
physical
Yeah.
training to be in that moment, but we never do mental
Yeah.
training. And that's why those high achievers succeed, because they do that.
They do that.
They picture themselves in those
Yeah.
moments, and it's already happened.
Yeah.
So when they go out there,
And
it's done.
And it's necessary for us to be doing that. It's
Absolutely.
I do. I really think it is. I'm even talking about the middle school level, 6th, 7th, 8th grade.
Mhm.
I just getting that to the next level to make better humans in this world and to use athletics. Like, look at the resilience. Like, look at a guy like you sitting here, like, can be vulnerable to be in tears
Right.
and
Yeah.
share your story.
Right.
Like, it's powerful. So
Yeah.
that's the mission.
Right.
Yeah, I'm excited. So
Appreciate it.
you'll see it all.
All right.
Yeah, let's go.